Prince Harry prepares for fresh Megxit meetings on Monday after they hit deadlock, forcing him to delay Canada reunion with Meghan Markle and Archie, who he hasn't seen in nearly a fortnight, while Queen appears determined on Sandringham Drive. Prince Harry has been forced to delay flying back to Canada to be reunited with Meghan and baby Archie because he is stuck in deadlocked negotiations with Palisades about his future. The Queen, who wore a steely expression behind the wheel of her Land Rover at Sandringham on Saturday, had ordered courtiers to hammer out a plan in days, not weeks, for a stripped-back royal roll for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. As she drove through her Norfolk estate, Her Majesty wrapped up against the winter chill in a patterned headscarf and dark glasses. Following a crunch summit between Princes Charles, William and Harry last Monday, she agreed to let the Sussexes step back from official duties and tasked Palisades with drawing up a blueprint for the couple's future in double time. But negotiations have since stretched on for 5 days because both parties are at loggerheads and unable to navigate a way through the stalemate. Buckingham Palace has confirmed to Mail Online that Harry, who was previously believed to be digging his heels in over securing a good financial settlement, has further meetings in the UK on Monday. This is despite his desire to return to Canada to be with Meghan and 8-month-old Archie, who he has not seen for almost 2 weeks. Harry had been expected to fly back across the Atlantic this weekend after hosting the Rugby League World Cup draw at Buckingham Palace on Thursday. The last time he saw his son was at the $14 million Vancouver Island mansion where he and Meghan spent Christmas, and Archie stayed when they returned to the UK to make their bombshell statement outlining their plan to quit as senior royals. And his time away from Archie will yawn into its 3rd week, after a source told the Mirror talks had deadlocked and that there was huge pressure to produce something by the end of this week but that it couldn't be done. They said, "The talks have hit a deadlock. There was huge pressure to produce something for the end of the week but it couldn't be done." The Queen said it herself, "These are complex issues and she is exactly right. Any announcement made in due course will be a halfway house, enough to suggest an agreement has been made between Harry, Meghan, and the rest of the family." The Standard quoted senior palace officials who are understood to have been working to resolve the crisis at pace. But it is thought that talks about the couple's ability to strike big money deals with corporate giants is adding to the delay. It emerged on Saturday that Meghan's team pre-approved text and pictures sent out after her carefully choreographed charity visit in Vancouver earlier this week. The Duchess of Sussex visited feminist climate change group Justice for Girls in Vancouver on Tuesday, and one of the first times she has been seen since the Duke and Duchess of Sussex announced they were quitting as senior royals. Her visit was publicized on the group's Twitter account but only after Meghan's team apparently gave the go-ahead, the Daily Telegraph reports. On Friday, Meghan took full advantage of her newfound independence from the Crown as she drove herself to a Canadian airport to pick up a Pilates expert pal who jetted in from the US for the weekend. The Duchess of Sussex was spotted in photos obtained exclusively by DailyMail.com parked outside Victoria International Airport in a Land Rover Discovery on Thursday afternoon. She appeared to be in high spirits as she chatted with a male companion in the front seat, believed to be personal security, for about 10 minutes until her friend Heather Dorark arrived. She runs the Pilates Platinum brand, which the Duchess started attending in Los Angeles when she starred in Suits. The friends were also both pregnant at the same time in late 2018, but their children were not with them at arrivals yesterday afternoon. Ms. Dorark, who hails from San Antonio, Texas, but lives in California, became Meghan's Pilates guru and attended the royal wedding in May 2018 with her husband Matt Cohen. 5,000 miles away in London, her husband Harry made his first public appearance since the Megxit bombshell, and potentially his last engagement as a frontline royal, at the draw for the Rugby League World Cup at Buckingham Palace on Thursday. And Harry and Meghan's staff at Frogmore Cottage are reportedly being let go, in the surest sign yet the couple will settle permanently in Canada, with the Duchess strongly rumoured never to return. More than £2.4 million of taxpayers' money was spent on the couple's Grade 2 listed house, according to royal accounts that were published last summer. The Bank of Dad is draining Charles, Richard K. on how the Prince of Wales has had to dip into his own private reserves and give Harry and William around £2.5 million each. As fireworks arced across the night sky over Windsor Great Park, Prince Charles oozed with paternal pride. "My darling old Harry, I'm so happy for you," He had declared in his Father of the Groom speech as the lavish celebrations for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's wedding moved to its extravagant finale. Fast forward 12 months and the Prince of Wales was in a rather less benign mood as he leafed through pages of accounts relating to his son's expenditure. The bills for the wedding, the bills relating to the considerable sum spent on fixtures and fittings at the Sussex's home Frogmore Cottage, quite distinct from the taxpayer-funded structural renovations, and the ongoing bills for Harry and Meghan's allowance that he also provides, were adding up. Beyond a frown, he gave little away. His attitude is always just pay what needs to be paid and move on, says a former aide. It's usually the path of least resistance when it's to do with the boys. But those familiar with some of the eye-watering numbers which have crossed the royal desk at Clarence House say there is another side to the story. One figure went so far as to say that the money he spends, not just on Harry and Meghan but also on financing William and Kate, was draining him. Officially, the brothers and their households are funded out of Charles's Duchy of Cornwall estate, but, in fact, the prince has at times had to dip into his own private reserves. It is thought the last time he had to do that on a significant level was in meeting Princess Diana's £17.5 million divorce settlement in 1996, for which he also had to borrow from the Queen. Within a year following Diana's death, that money, minus inheritance tax handed over to the Treasury, had ironically been transferred into trusts for his sons. Against this backdrop, it is no wonder that the prince has been so dismayed by Harry's decision to turn his back on life within the royal family for an increasingly uncertain future outside it. One of his central worries is just how, or rather who, is going to finance their new lives. Money may not be the root of this crisis, but it is contingent to it. In announcing their decision to stand down as senior royals, the couple said it was their intention to be financially independent. While this certainly represents a headache for the monarchy with its thinly disguised inference that Harry and Meghan may become royals for sale, Prince Charles's money men may be privately relieved. At one stage he was paying the Sussexes more than William and his family. That figure is now understood to be around the same, with Harry and William each receiving approximately £2.5 million. However, the prince has let it be known that his funds are not inexhaustible and that there is a limit to how far and how much he can pay. Insiders speak of the hundreds of thousands of pounds the prince made available to furnish the couple's Windsor home after their decision to abandon Kensington Palace. This was in addition to the £2.4 million of public money used to convert the 19th-century property from five-star flats into a single home. As for the wedding, it cost him a small fortune, a source said. They were not small sums. From the Michelin-starred caterers who provided the evening's black-tie dinner for 200, and the glass marquee, to the festival-themed food stalls and bars and cars and coaches to ferry the guests around, it was all paid for by the prince. According to a source, the figures involved in providing for both boys have in recent times been flagged up to the prince by his accounting staff on more than one occasion. There's usually a raised eyebrow, but the prince always just signs them off, says the source.